Section 2.5 is about the distributive property, and we talked a little bit about it in a previous section, but now you're actually going to work with it. So let me write out the different ways to write the properties. So you could, the most common way is just to say plus C equals, and the A gets distributed to the B, and the A gets distributed to the C, and you end up with A times B, keep the plus sign, A times C. And this is with addition in between. So I'll just say addition. Oops. Let me zoom. I think I got zoomed out a little bit. Here we go. And then you could also write the same expression here as B plus C with the A on the right side. It doesn't matter, it's still going to be distributed, it's just going backwards here. That's still A, I guess you could say A times C first, but I'm just going to go BA plus CA. And the order of these two doesn't matter because that would be commutative. Then you could write the property in terms of subtraction. And you could say A B minus C. Some people call this the rainbow property because it kind of looks like you have rainbows on top here. A times B, keep the minus sign in the middle, and then A times C. Or you might have the A on the other side, B minus C, in which case, kind of going like this, and you get BA minus CA. All right, now those are basically different ways to write the same thing, but that's kind of the main one there. There's different ways to use the property. You can use it to do some quick mental math, so I'm just going to work some problems. If you have 5 times 83, instead of doing this, 83 times 5 and going through that process, you could rewrite this as 5 times, now I'm going to break the 83 up into an 80 and 3. And you could just do this mentally. So then what you really have is 5 times 80, well that's easy to do in your head because of the 0, plus 5 times 3. So you just have 400 plus 15, and you get 415. You could also do this with decimals. Oops, my pen just broke apart here. Let me push it back together. Example 2, you could say, if you had to multiply 6 times 9.5, and you could do that the long way, or you could break up the 9.5 into a 9 and then a 0.5, because those two add to 9.5, and then you get 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 0.5, that's pretty easy. That's just 6 1/2. 6 times 1/2, and that's 3. And so adding those together, you get a 57. So it's kind of like a little trick. Example 3. Now we're going to add variables. If you want to multiply this, it's 5 times x, it's 5x, plus, keep the plus sign, 5 times 2 is 10. And you can't do anything beyond that, because those are not like terms. 4. Let's do it with the number on the other side, 6y plus 7. And then with the 4 here, I'm still doing this kind of thing. So the 6y times the 4 is going to be 24y. Plus, then the 7 times the 4 is 28, and that's as far as you can go. Now, let me work a few more problems from, I think, let's see here. Let me show you another type before I go to the ones I was thinking about. Going back to all numbers again. If you have to multiply, well, if you have to simplify this expression, times 17. So you have 75 times 17 plus 25 times 17. You might think to just multiply these two numbers and multiply these two and then add those two products together. But if you recognize that there's a 17 in both of these pieces, then you can do almost like a reverse distributive. So instead of starting with this and going this way, you're given this. See how there's an A in each piece? Well, here there's a 17, that's your A. You're starting with this and you're going backwards to write it in this form. Normally you have this and you go to the right. So the 17 was the thing that was distributed. So I'm going to put that on the outside of a parenthesis, and then these two must have been on the inside. And there's a plus between them. So now if you check backwards, 17 times 75, I get that, plus 17 times 25, I get that. Now why would you want to do that? Well, because in this case, 75 and 25 makes an easy 100. And I just have 17 times 100, which is 1700. This is a lot easier than multiplying these two pieces out and then adding them. All right, now I want to go and do a couple more from the section. Example 6. Let's see, let's do, I'm going to do this one here. This one doesn't involve, well, yeah, let's go ahead and actually do the 6m plus 7n, that's sum times 2. Okay, so 6m times 2 is 12m, plus, and then 7n times 2 is 14n, and those can't be added, so that's as far as you go. Let's do, let's see, I'm almost off my paper. Example 7. Let's, yeah, I won't put, let's make one up with a negative sign yet. -2 4x minus y. Okay, so we're going to distribute. But before I do, you could leave the minus, but I like to change everything to addition, so I'm going to keep the 4x, change that to a plus, and make the y negative. Now I'm going to distribute. -2 times 4x, you multiply the number parts, and I get -8x, keep the plus sign, -2 times a -y. Two negatives multiplied make a positive. So that just gives me 2y, and those cannot be added together. All right. Now, they also give you some adding like terms problems. So I'm on example 8. You really don't need to use distributive to do them at all. So 3s plus 5t minus t minus 2s. First, I'm going to go through, change everything to addition. So because I have a subtraction sign, I'm going to look at the two terms around it. Keep, change, change. And then I'm going to deal with this one. Keep the negative t, change, change. Now it's all addition, and I can look for like terms. Well, I have a 3s and a negative 2s. Those are alike. And the 5t and the negative t are also alike. So if I add the s terms, I get 3 s's and a negative 2s. Gives me 1s. 5t plus a negative t gives me 4t. And that's as far as that goes. Let me do one of the bigger ones. If you have 4 times 3m minus 2 plus 4n. Then I'm going to distribute. Just because there's 3 pieces, it works the same way. I could have 100 pieces in the parenthesis and I'm still going to distribute. But let's change the subtraction to addition. Keep, change, change. All right, so 4 times 3m, 12m, plus 4 times negative 2, negative 8, plus 4 times 4n is 16n. And none of these are like terms, so I can't combine any of them. And that would be the answer.